Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
So it seems like that was the correction of the fall of this huge red candle and some ultimate drop to 3000, below 3500, as we basically expected, guys. So we touched back $4,000, traded there for a while, and now we are continuing to fall. And even in this candle, it was something like, again, 3,500. Some volume is already here, so it seems like it's hard to push the price lower than these levels. A lot of the players wanted to get Bitcoin at these prices. However, it seems like we are pushing down it. We will do that, and probably the next level will be like $3,000, as we discussed. Yeah, I drew, let's switch to the regular scale. From the logarithmic, I drew this channel yesterday, and after it touched this resistance line, I expected it to go down, because as I said recently, the simplest TA works. And as you see, if you actually wanted to be up to date and see some like real-time updates of my thoughts on the market, you can actually follow on Twitter. And this I tweeted yesterday. So this basically the same thing. So this red arrow I drew yesterday, and this what basically happened. Surprisingly, really similar to my expectation. And yeah, it happens that very simple TA works these days, and we have this falling descending channel, and we basically are traded within this channel. So the next stop within this channel is something like, if we'll follow this trend, maybe something like 3,300 or even 200. It depends on where we will touch it. And usually, as you know, for these sort of channels, although it is quite obvious that we are in these frames, we are in this price zones, we are usually tend to break this both ways. And now we touched the upside 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, at least 5 times, maybe even 6 if you count that, and we touched the bottom only 1, 2 times. So probably, if I would be the one which would move the price, I would probably touch the bottom once, then I would break, because it probably will be even stronger volume here. I will break the upside and stay there for a while to make sort of a bull trap, maybe even above $4,000, and then I will make a huge squeeze down below this support line and to the level of 3,000 and sub $3,000. So this is just the short-term expectation. Maybe it will not work, but generally still I hold the standpoint of falling below $3,000, or at least touching $3,000. I must also, again, this is my personal opinion, not financial advice, yada yada. What I was going to show you as well is this chart on Bitstamp. You see that yes, of course the time scale is a bit different, but if you look at that, and this is logarithmic scale, that after the all-time high in 2014, we had, it actually was 2013, so we had this descending period in price when we it lasted quite long actually, and then we had this huge red candle. This is the monthly chart, and after this red candle we had a correction, some flat region, and finally bull market. It is very similar to what we have here. So we had the rise, all-time high, some correction, quite long correction, and even some steady period after the reaching the bottom. So we reached the bottom and we traded here with low volatility for a while, and then we have this huge red candle, which is actually didn't touch the lowest point if you'll compare this candle and this candle. So I think that we may very well touch like 3000, and then we'll close the fall with which will be similar to this red candle right here. So as soon as we'll do that, we'll have the correction upwards, maybe 15% or something like that. Then we'll trade for a while in the sideways, and from 2019, maybe in the middle 2019, we will have more or less reliable growth, and finally the bull market until maybe end of the 2020th, and maybe it will be this $1 million as McAfee predicted. Who knows? So that's the one thing. And the last thing which I was going to mention about like just simple TA, but by the way, before we'll move there, let me show you this news from SEC. They say that well, that not they, this is the SEC commissioner, which said, he said that, or she, I think it's she said that it's not the official statement, it's like personal opinion, but still future cryptocurrency ETF definitely possible. Of course there is a lot of some kind of critics about that, but you see it's still quite valuable in terms of understanding how people in the field, in this area, think about the possibilities and about the this asset in general. So they don't think that it's like something really outrageous, and we know about that because it was a lot of time it was delayed but not cancelled right away, as opposed to other ETFs, by the way, which were basically the same in terms of the asset in the market, but different in terms of the entity which is tried to apply for the ETF. So it is a matter of the entity more, it seems like, not the asset itself. So now let's look at the Bitstamp price historically once again, and here is what we can see, especially in the logarithmic chart. It's easier to grasp. So if we have the drop historically for 45+% as we have now, then usually, in most cases, in all the cases except maybe our 2018 February or January February, when we had quite of the correction but very short, and then we fall once again. So it's like 43% and then 50% drop again, just very soon after that, but just after quite of the correction of this drop. But still, all of those corrections, they didn't last longer than 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks they were over, and we had like either the sideways trading or the upwards movement for a while. And it's both reasonable from technical analysis perspective and from the psychological point of view, because you see people cannot hold the price drop for that long, and a lot of the opportunity is seen in this price range when the price goes that low. So a lot of people are about to buy. So the same thing is happening now. However, you can see that we're already like 2 weeks in the period of 2 weeks, and it's over. It's about to close this range of time when we should start to go up. I don't think actually that it may happen, because it's too severe, the same as here. Maybe we'll stay there for like 1 week longer or something like that, but again, this is the history, we need to take this into account. And the last thing but not least, which I was going to show you, is this weekly chart, 200 weeks moving average on Bitstamp, because it's the longest history for price which we have. You see now we're approaching to these 200 weeks moving average, which is something like $3,100, a little bit higher than that. But this is usually one of the strongest levels, one of the strongest support for the price. And again, this might be the area when we will stop and have a bounce from. The thing is, like, again, in 2015 we had this price touching this moving average a couple of times, and actually we don't have enough history. But if you will extend this line like this, you probably would see that we actually pin through this line quite a lot, like maybe maybe even 5 or 10% or something like that of that price level. And it may happen again, same here. It's like to have again this V-shaped reversal, we need to make as much panic as possible, and that would happen if as soon as we'll go below $3,000, maybe even to $2,500, something like that. But probably we will not stay there for long, and we will return above the 200 days moving average, and will trade up above there for a while. Maybe we'll touch it for like two or three times after that. It's the same as we did in 2015. But again, this will be the time when the trend will be reversed probably. And again, how many, like month, 2-3 months we need to do that, and then 2019 it's the time for a lot of more positive sentiment and price action for Bitcoin. So hopefully everything will be fine. However, let's look at the situation. Nothing is impossible. We very likely could fall like $2,000, something like that, and stay there for a year. Crypto is crazy, you know, so don't be surprised if this will happen. But again, just from the simplicity, from the most reasonable and obvious things and behavior of the market, I think that should happen. And also I must say that recently, when we were talking about the price action, and like, okay, we have this drop for lower and lower levels, I must notice, I must mention that I didn't say that before, but I guess I should say that a lot of people got like frustrated, irritated about this action, price action, and seeing that their money is melted and evaporating and so on. I perfectly understand their feelings, because I basically have the same thing. I'm holding this, and I feel that when it will be over, I don't want to endure it anymore. The thing is that one may argue that nobody pushed you to buy this at all-time high, or whatever you whenever you bought it at $20,000 or these levels. It doesn't matter, but still you now have a lot of the losses. But on the other hand, you may also blame the mass media, or like those YouTubers which are doing those videos saying that, oh, we're going to $100,000 and so on and so forth, we will crash the banks and etc. However, again, there were a few of them which were actually not few, a lot of them which were saying that, guys, we need to have a correction, it's too unhealthy, natural growth, and we need to go lower, and probably market will crash and we'll have a bear market for a while. So there were those people, but nobody believed them when people saw this golden candy around this area, and they wanted to have their piece of the pie. It's like a gold rush, so not surprising. And also those people who entered the market and now having a lot of losses, those didn't have the experience to deal with such thing as trading and markets in general. And when they started to do that, they basically had to have this first move mistakes, and it's nothing surprising. The major thing is that if you got this lesson and you didn't sell so far, then you'd have to probably stay here for long and just forget about your the value which you have now, and expect it to go even much higher levels, and eventually at least return your investment. Hopefully you didn't put everything in shitcoins and like completely shit coins, and then it means that at least something you will return. But at least if you're staying everything and saving everything, or a major part of in Bitcoin, then you should be fine. You just need to be patient, need to wait, and I think we'll do fine, guys. So that's it for today. If it was useful, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave your comment. Please share your thoughts, what you think about the current condition, where we will go, etc. And I hope to see you already tomorrow in the next update. Safe trading, guys. Goodbye.